The movie begins with a guy named Sven who's a butcher. He's cooking food on a holiday and his girlfriend Tina keeps messing with it. This really pisses Sven off, so he tells her the food isn't ready yet. Just then Sven's buddy Bjorn shows up. Tina introduces Bjorn to her friend, who starts flirting with him as soon as she sees him. Bjorn doesn't like it, so he kicks her under the table, which upsets her and she leaves. Sven and Bjorn work at a butcher shop run by a guy named Holger. He's famous for his sausages and his shop does great business, but he doesn't respect Sven or Bjorn. Sven tells Bjorn they could open a better butcher shop, and he's sure people would love their meat. Holger overhears this and chews Sven out, saying the marinade he makes for chicken is awful and would never sell. This really hurts Sven and Bjorn. That evening they meet a dealer who shows them a butcher shop that's been closed for years. They love the place and decide to buy it. Sven tells Bjorn they need 2 million to buy it, but he can only put in 1 million. Bjorn says he can't arrange that kind of money, so they'll have to drop the idea. That night, Bjorn thinks about how owning their own shop would mean they wouldn't have to work under anyone. He visits a mental asylum where his brother is in a coma. The doctor there tells Bjorn his brother's treatment is ongoing, but there's no improvement. Bjorn suggests they kill his brother since his parents left everything in his name, and if he dies, Bjorn would get the money to open the shop. The doctor agrees to do it. That evening, Sven gives the dealer half the money to buy the shop and hands Bjorn some business cards, asking him to distribute them to locals so people know a new shop is opening. Later, Bjorn visits his parents' graves and remembers them. A girl named Astrid shows up and talks to him. Bjorn tells her it's his wife and parents' grave, and they died in an accident. His brother was injured in the same accident and is now in a coma. Astrid feels bad hearing this and shares that her parents died when she was young. Bjorn gives her a card for his shop and invites her to visit, but Astrid says she's vegetarian and loves animals. The next morning, Sven, Bjorn and Tina are at the shop, waiting for customers, but no one shows up for a long time. Sven gets mad and takes it out on Tina, who feels hurt and leaves. Sven complains to Bjorn that they've offered so many deals, but no customers are coming. Bjorn calms him down, saying customers will come soon. They had called an electrician because their freezer wasn't working properly. The electrician tells Bjorn he'll come back at night to check it. Sven asks Bjorn to taste his marinade and tell him how it is, but Bjorn refuses because he thinks it's bad. They wait for customers until evening, but no one comes. Sven locks the freezer door and closes the shop. We then see the electrician working inside the freezer, but now it's locked, so how does he get out? The next morning, Sven arrives at the shop and his girlfriend breaks up with him. Sven tells her he's going to be rich soon and she's making a mistake, but Tina doesn't listen and leaves. Devastated, Sven opens the shop and checks the freezer, where he finds the electrician's dead body. He panics because his mistake caused someone's death. Just then Holger shows up to place an order. He mocks Sven, saying his shop is useless, but he's there to buy meat for a big dinner party at his house that night to see how Sven's meat tastes. Sven gets furious and gives him the meat. Later, when Bjorn arrives, Sven hugs him, crying. Bjorn asks what he did and Sven tells him about the electrician. Bjorn checks the freezer and sees the electrician's body hanging like an animal with one leg missing. He asks Sven where the leg went. Sven explains that Holger came by and his words pissed him off, so instead of chicken he served him human meat. Bjorn is shocked because Sven butchered a person. Sven asks if they should go to the police, but Bjorn says they can't. The next morning, Bjorn arrives at the shop and sees a crowd of customers. He asks Sven where they came from, and Sven says the meat he gave Holger was so delicious that word spread across town, and now everyone's here for it. Bjorn warns Sven they can't serve human meat, but Sven argues it's the only way to grow their business and hide the body so no one knows where the electrician went. Bjorn agrees and starts butchering the body. That evening they do great business and make a lot of money. Sven tells Bjorn that when he was young his parents died, and he's been alone ever since, never finding love. But today, seeing customers at his shop, he felt their love, which he's craved for years. Bjorn tells him this love is only for one day because the human meat is gone, and tomorrow customers will leave empty-handed. Sven suggests they kill someone else, but Bjorn hits him, calling him crazy. Bjarne goes home thinking of Astrid and visits her to spend time together. As Sven is about to close the shop, the dealer who sold them the shop shows up, having lost his job and looking for work. Sven agrees to hire him but asks him to check the freezer. When the dealer goes inside, Sven locks the door and leaves. Meanwhile, Bjarne brings Astrid to his house and shows her his dead animals. The next day at the shop, Bjarne sees a huge crowd of customers. He asks Sven what's going on as they'll have to turn people away. Sven says that won't happen, showing Bjarne a uniform he made for the shop. When Bjarne checks the freezer, he sees the dealer's body and yells at Sven. Sven lies, saying he didn't kill him. He found the body outside and brought it to the freezer. Bjarne believes him and starts butchering the body to serve customers. A reporter arrives to interview Sven because he's become famous so quickly. At the hospital, when doctors remove life support from Bjarne's brother, he suddenly wakes up, shocking everyone. They call it a miracle and release him. The next day, Bjarne's brother visits the shop, but Bjarne hides, blaming him for their wife and parents' deaths. Bjarne tells Sven to get rid of him. Sven gives Bjarne's brother a toy and tells him to leave. Bjarne goes to the hospital and asks the doctor how his brother recovered. She explains it was a miracle. They removed life support to let him die, but he woke up and started walking. Bjarne says he wants to kill his brother, but the doctor calls him crazy and says she'll tell Sven. Furious, Bjarne tells her to meet Sven that evening, knowing Sven will lock her in the freezer. The next morning, a huge crowd gathers for the meet, and we see the doctor's body in the freezer. Bjarne butchers it and Sven serves it to customers. Sven notices Bjarne's brother sneaking into the shop and kicks him out, saying Bjarne doesn't want to see him. Outside, Bjarne's brother sees Bjarne throwing chickens in the trash, feels bad for them and takes them away. That night, Astrid and Bjarne talk by the river. Astrid shares that the father she lives with was in a plane crash with his wife, who died. With no help for days, he had to eat her flesh to survive. Meanwhile, the father and Holger discuss Sven's butcher shop, unable to believe its sudden success. The father says he ate their meat and it tasted like human flesh, similar to his wife's. Holger realizes they're serving human meat. The next morning, Astrid sees Bjarne's brother burying chickens in the graveyard and recognizes him. That night, when Bjarne visits Astrid, he sees her playing with his brother and feels upset, leaving. Astrid tries to explain, but Bjarne yells at his brother and refuses to talk. Meanwhile, as Sven is about to close the shop for a date, Tina shows up wanting him back. Sven accuses her of returning only because he's successful. When she mocks him, he gets angry and locks her in the freezer to kill her. News reports people disappearing in town, and Holger suspects Sven is responsible. The next day, Bjarne sees Tina's body on the table. Sven tells him to butcher it and he does. Astrid's father warns her to stop seeing Bjarne, suspecting they're selling human meat. Astrid doesn't believe him and leaves. That night, Astrid and Bjarne's brother visit the shop, but Sven says Bjarne left and they can't come in. Bjarne's brother insists on seeing him, so Sven lures them into the freezer, saying Bjarne's inside and locks them in. Bjarne goes to Astrid's house, where her father says the meat tastes like his wife's flesh. Bjarne denies it, claiming they only serve chicken, and asks about Astrid. Her father says she went to the shop. Panicked, Bjarne rushes there and asks Sven where Astrid and his brother are. Sven lies, saying they left, but Astrid bangs her head on the freezer door. Bjarne hears it, opens the freezer and saves them. Astrid yells at them, calling them crazy, and leaves. Bjarne attacks Sven but lets him go because he's his friend. He sees his brother unconscious in the freezer and thinks he's dead, but his brother wakes up, happy to see Bjarne, and says he loves him. The next morning, a crowd gathers at the shop. Bjarne sees no human meat is left and tries Sven's marinade, loving it. He realizes it's the marinade customers love, not the meat. He shreds the last human meat pieces and serves chicken instead. A food inspection team arrives, suspecting human meat. Sven brings flowers to apologize to Bjarne but panics seeing the inspection. He's about to confess they served human meat, but Bjarne kicks him and takes him outside. The inspectors find no human meat, proving they only served chicken. Bjarne tells Sven he tasted his marinade, the best in the world, and customers love it, not the meat. Sven cries, realizing the magic is in his marinade, not human meat. The next day they go on vacation where Astrid meets Bjarne and apologizes. Bjarne forgives her and the movie ends here. So friends, that was today's video. If you liked it, let us know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and the bell icon for notifications. The movie's moral revolves around the dangers of ambition unchecked by ethics and the redemptive power of self-discovery. Sven and Bjarne, driven by a desire to escape their oppressive boss and achieve success, resort to horrific measures, serving human meat to customers, believing it's the only way to succeed. This reflects how desperation and a lack of moral boundaries can lead to monstrous decisions, harming others and themselves. Their actions spiral out of control, causing deaths and betrayals, highlighting the consequences of prioritizing success over humanity. However, the story also underscores redemption through self-awareness. Bjarne's realization that Sven's marinade, not the human meat, is what customers love, shows that true success lies in authentic talent and honest effort, not deceit. The film warns against losing one's moral compass in pursuit of goals, emphasizing that integrity and genuine skill can lead to fulfillment without destruction. It also touches on forgiveness, as seen in Bjarne's reconciliation with Astrid and his brother, suggesting that acknowledging mistakes and valuing relationships can heal past wrongs. Ultimately, the movie teaches that success built on unethical choices is fleeting, but embracing one's true abilities and making amends can lead to lasting redemption.